She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockacrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking.
Conceived by Brother Robert Francis. Brother Francis operates a bakery, and he feels that we, at my generation, his generation, we have not been doing enough to ensure that our community is kept up to date and the continuance of our culture. So Brother Francis has agreed to have this program sponsored. Now, I'm Elton McCrae, as you saw my name there. I'm from the community of BV Triumph. And Village Gyaaf is intended to be a community program, right? Not for BV and Triumph only, but for all communities throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, where our people reside. Now, when we talk of community development, we are saying that somewhere along the line, we dropped the ball. Our foreparents, our parents, did for us what seemingly we are not doing for our children. And we have many of our children going into directions which we are not pleased about. Hence, we see myself and Brother Fraser, not Fraser, well, Nigel Fraser was agreed to get us on his, to have us on his TV, so that's why I'm saying Fraser. Brother Francis agreed that we need to do something about it. So we are here. We'll be here every fortnight, Tuesday, as of now, at 7 o'clock. Now, when we talk of community development, we are talking about how we mold, especially our young people, how we make the life of people in our community improve, or what we can do to improve the livelihood of people in our community, and so on. So in doing this, there are a few items that we will have to work with. There are a few elements that we must have at our disposal. And one of the principal elements is land, right? Hence, it is land which our foreparents first acquired. And from those lands that they did acquire, we have our villages formed. And our villages are what really is the place where Guyana became civilized. The civilization of Guyana began. Because prior to that, it was a lot of controversies. It was conflicting, where people were brutalized. It was a brutal society. But our village humanized Guyana. So that is why I'm going back to Village Gyaaf. The things that we have done in our village to make life good. Oh, we must recognize that our villages has played a very significant role in molding Guyana. And because we are seeing the slide in our communities, we feel that we need to go back to the concept of the village, what the village did. So we have our Village Gyaaf. Now, Village Gyaaf is not intended for me to be lecturing to you people. Village Gyaaf is supposed to be a two-way thing. So from time to time, well, as from the next program really, there will be people from the village, our villages. When I say the village, I mean the community, our community, coming to have that Gyaaf with me. Right? I said we need the first element that we need, that our foreparents recognized that was needed for us to form this community, for us to accept or to be functional in this community, was land. Hence, they bought the villages, what is now villages, of Buxton, Beavy, Victoria, Belladrum, and so on, Queenstown, Ejikebu, and all the others, right? And hence we have in Guyana what some of us refer to as ancestral lands. So today we need to really take care of those ancestral lands, because those lands are definitely under attack, as we see happened in Seafield on the west coast of Berbice, as we see happened in Bedford not too long ago, right, where some people who does not appreciate what we have and how it came into our possession feel that it can be disposed of or they can take it. We are seeing this in Nabakalis today and many other villages. We are on our village lands are under siege. So we need to have policies as a people to ensure that our lands are safeguarded. We want to secure our lands at all cost. And towards this end, we must come together. What I should have told you before is my being, apart from being from BV Triumph, I'm a member of the Bedford Triumph 8th of May movement. I'm also a member of AGDA and a member of the Guyana Reparations Committee. In other words, if you notice, all those organizations are about the furtherance of community development in our communities. So I started to discourse land. Now, AGDA has over the years been calling for that, for an Ancestral Lands Commission. And this Ancestral Lands Commission should be one agency which will give protection to our ancestral lands. That is, those are the lands that our foreparents bought immediately after emancipation, within the first 40 years after emancipation or so. So, we need this Ancestral Lands Commission. Why it's necessary? Because those lands need to be protected. Just like how the lands of the Amerindian that are in Amerindian villages are protected, we are saying African lands must be also protected. And this can only be protected if there is some mechanism in place, because our lands are taken for granted. Look, for instance, I will come back to my village. The councillors in my village decided they will sell the lands that our foreparents bought. Instead of selling those lands to villagers, have it open to villagers, there were 33 house lots. What they did, they sold a large number of those 33 house lots to themselves and families. One man, his family got 10 pieces, right? Then they went and sold to people all the way up in Dundee, Mycone, Annandale, Victoria. I mean, even the lawyer who represented the council got a piece of land. The government officer who was supposed to, in the office that deals with transport, she got 2 pieces. And there is yet a villager who is not directly associated, linked to the council, to have a piece of those lands. Which those lands should have been sold to villagers at a rate to compensate for whatever developmental works would have been, because our foreparents already bought it. So it should not be actually sold, but just to cover the cost of developmental works to those lands, the villagers should have had access. And when I say villagers in this case, I'm talking about any villager who resides in BV Triumph, because apart from the descendants of our foreparents who live here, who first bought these lands, we accepted others into our community, right? And if we have accepted them, then they are part of us, so we should not discriminate. That said, I will leave that matter. But as you see the WhatsApp there, if you have any queries, anything to suggest on those lines, I will be happy to respond to you at some time, if not tonight, right? Because the program will continue. Now, apart from the lands, then we must have LT programs for our people in the communities. Many of our communities do not have facilities for our young people to be gainfully occupied. Because, for instance, recently, the Minister of Labor, a Baronian, or I can say, made a statement to the effect that Guyana needs 160,000 workers to satisfy the needs of the oil and gas industry. I know many of our villages cannot satisfy that. So within our villages, we must devise mechanisms where our young villagers can be trained to benefit from or to be engaged in this oil and gas industry that we hear so much about, because oil and gas is bringing in a lot of money currently for foreigners. Most of the people employed in that sector are foreigners, right? We have people coming from Bangladesh, India, Philippines, and so on, coming to work with our oil and gas industry. I'm not saying that Guyana can satisfy all the needs of that industry, but we must make an attempt to participate in that industry, right? So we need to have training. And the training I'm talking about is technical and vocational training. We need to have facilities even at the village level, right? I know in BV, for instance, we have the PIC at Monrepo. In Buxton, there's a PIC at the back of Buxton. In Victoria, there's also a similar facility. Those facilities must be geared to train our people, and other facilities because it's not all the requirements that I think we can be satisfied at the local level. Some we may have to go to the technical institute and so on. So I'm saying this to say that we need within our communities guidance for the young people, how they can access these programs. And I'm hoping that by way of this program, we can put things in our communities to make our young people, especially, have access to these programs, training programs, so that at some point in the near future, they can be gainfully employed within the oil and gas sector, or sectors that will be supporting oil and gas, because developing oil and gas alone should not be our primary goal. We need to have our food baskets ready, because if for instance, all those foreigners are coming in, we must feed them, right? We must also, because when oil and gas is finished, our agriculture must be there, so we must also have people training in agriculture. As a matter of fact, last week, I saw an advertisement from the Guyana School of Agriculture, where they are now admitting students for the diploma in agriculture and the certificate in agriculture. So if you're listening and you have an interest in agriculture, or you think you're suitably qualified, you can access the Guyana School of Agriculture, check your telephone directories for the information. And or go to the internet and apply, right? Because we need farmers, we need people trained in agriculture, more people, especially in our community. Because if, as I said, we will protect our lands through the Ancestral Lands Commission, then those lands must also be gainfully occupied, like the lands at the back of Beavy, the lands at the back of Buxton, which the most of it are today idle. Most of the lands at the back of Victoria is idle. Most of the lands at the back of, Victoria, they are utilizing some of it, Most of the lands at the back of Ansgrove are idle today. So we need to have our people back to those lands, because the oil and gas industry will need food. And because of the income our communities will get from oil and gas, because if people within the community is working in oil and gas and other sectors, then they will be disposable income, then we can start farming by an extension. So we need to have our lands cultivable, so that others will not see them as wastelands and come to grab them from under our feet. Right? So another thing that we need to ensure that happens within our community is that we have a direct liaison. Each one of us should have a direct liaison with our local authorities, so that we know what they are doing. And one mechanism which I would recommend that all communities request of the local authorities is that they stream their meetings live, so that people can follow their meetings. If not in real time, they can always look at a recording. Because if this was happening in BV, the nonsense that the BV district NDC did, selling our lands to John Finance, or attempting to sell our lands to John Finance, would not have happened, because we would have been following them. And don't let them tell you that, oh, it's costly, and it's not costly. All you need is an internet facility. You can do it on Facebook, you can do it on YouTube, and these are all free services. Right? Now, why we need to stream our meetings live also is that we can keep abreast with what are the programs, projects that are being implemented in our community. So we know if we see a dam being built, we can probably then find out what are the specs of that dam, what are the specs of the canal, the drainage canal that's being dug or right? So we need to know, right? And as I said, don't let them tell you it's not necessary, because some of these councils definitely feel that the business of council is private business and not the business of the people. I mean, if Parliament can be streamed live, what about a little village council's meeting or district council's meeting? If Parliament can be live, City Council can be live, why BV NDC cannot be live, cannot be streamed? Why Buxton Falls NDC cannot be streamed? Why Pleasance Industries Council cannot be streamed, so that the residents of those communities follow what is happening at all times? Because BV Council, there is no room for example, for the public to go and sit there to be entertained or to follow the council meetings. Formerly, they were seating for a few people. Now there are no seating. Right? So streaming it live, we can look at it in our own dear time, if not while it's in real time. So please, I'm asking, I'm begging that make it your duty, clamor for your villages, your district councils to stream their meetings live, so we can follow what is happening, and no secrets, to allow them to do the nonsense they did in BV Triumph 2 years ago. Now, for the young people again, sporting facilities. many of our villages, the sporting facilities are weak. We intend on this program not to ensure that your sporting facilities are up to date, because we will not have the resources, but we will give you a voice on these programs to make your requests, to promote the ideas. Also, even if you have a promotion, if a club has a promotion, a community club has a promotion, we'll be willing to make it known that, well, look, the football club in Buxton is having a tournament, or the football club in Pleasance, BV, is having a tournament, the cricket club, wherever it is, in which of our communities, if it's an athletic club, they're having a meeting, we can advertise it so that your gates can be better attended, you know. So that's the idea. We want to Gyaaf. We want to talk about what's happening in our communities. No, we want you to say what you need in your communities, and let us discuss it, how we can have it implemented, either through government, if we can access a governmental department, an NGO, or even a foreign agency to assist our villages to make sure that things go right. Because, as I said, I'm a member of the 8th of May movement of BV Triumph. I'm a member of AGDA, and also a member of the Guyana Reparations Committee. You know, so we are talking how to make things better for our communities at all times. So let us discuss it, let us talk about it, let's Gyaaf, and so on, right? So we will take a break now and look at some ads.
Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day I back down, me now I come home. Inaga jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down, but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokunani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet.
Yes, so you see, AGDA as its Emancipation Day program, and in that program you notice there we are talking of a cook-up competition. So go call AGDA and get yourself involved. If you think you're a good cook, go try your luck. Also, we have the Buxton Monument Tour, the tour to Buxton, where they go to the monuments and other things in Buxton. You know, support. Now, coming back to the village Gyaaf, what we need in our villages, we see our students, some of them are struggling, but I think some of these retired teachers, senior professionals who are off the job today, I will suggest that within our villages, we can organize, let's say, an after-school lessons for help for school children to do who are doing their CXC, right? I don't know how you will organize it, but it can be done. Within each village, I know there are many teachers who are off the job. Some of them are occupied, they have found ways and means to occupy themselves, but some of them are there, and I know from talking to some of those that I've met along the way, they are willing to make a contribution. but maybe facilities are not there. They cannot find a school building. But then the young people who are there, they can organize the lessons and then make overtures to the older ones who they feel can teach them, whichever way. But we need definitely to help our young people so that they can get better grades and a greater understanding of the subject areas that they are studying at school, right? One of the things that I'm hoping that we will be discussing, and along the way we will be also advertising, is how do we assist our young people to grasp the scholarship opportunities. Yes, some may say these things are advertised in the newspapers, but not everybody buys newspapers. So again, we will be advertising some of those scholarship opportunities on the village Gyaaf. You see, the whole idea, we need our people to be trained, we need our people to be ready, made ready for work ready, as an old friend of mine used to say. You know, he was my old headmaster. Well, not headmaster in the sense that I went to the school that he managed, but we worked together in a school. That is Mr. Vernon Rodriguez from Ansgrove. He always talked about work readiness. You know, back in time, he would tell me, Elton, you young people are not ready. You don't have work readiness. You know, and so he took us under his wings, those of us who were there, working with him at St. Peter's School, and instilled in us that work readiness. So we need to make our young people work ready, right? It's not good enough to just for them to have 10 CXCs. We must also give them the attitude to work. They may be bright, but that doesn't make them work ready. They must have the attitude. And those are the things we, in my younger days, many of us were in youth clubs. So within these youth clubs, we had debates. Nowadays, there are very few youth clubs that I'm hearing of. Maybe they are there, but I'm not hearing of them. You know. But I know back in time, each church in BV had a youth group. Outside of the churches, there were other youth groups. Like, for instance, we had a Tribet Culture Club. And others, we had the majorettes. Well, now I see the majorettes are there. And they will be there performing for us come August, well, I was about to say August Monday, Emancipation Day. Right, because I saw the young ladies practicing the other day. But, you know, we had Bertie Wilson and his majorettes back in time. We had Scouts and other organizations where young people got themselves engaged. We don't have all those organizations today. I'm happy that some of the young fellas are still trying to keep the football club going in BV. But, you know, we need to give them the support, right? So make them work ready. Now, August 1st is around the corner and we have an emancipation. What is emancipation? Emancipation celebrations, it is celebrating that day that our foreparents walked off the plantation, right? It was a joyful occasion for them. But emancipation should mean much more than that for us. It is the day that our people decided that they will buy villages or lands and make life for themselves, chart their own course, right? We need to give our young people that opportunity. That we need to emancipate the minds of our young people, as Bob Marley would say, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. Many of our young people are caught up in that syndrome, right? We need to assist them to emancipate themselves. Also this year, August, we will be celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Demerara insurrection, as some will call it. Some will say the Demerara rebellion. Some will say the Demerara revolution. I'm not going to argue with none of the people. All three concepts are accepted. But what did we learn, or what lessons are there to learn from that revolution, insurrection, or it is that working together we can do things. When we have differences in opinions, and there were differences, there were some of people who backstabbed, that is why it may have failed too, because we had backstabbers there. So we need to take the lessons that insurrection, revolution, rebellion offered us and learn from it, and to see how we can progress. Anyhow, for that 200th anniversary, there will be a series of programs in BV and out of BV. In Annesgrove, I'm aware of the programs for Bachelor Adventure, Buxton. Even we are looking at a possible something to happen at Le Souvenir. The source, or where they said the insurrection was planned, in that chapel there, that is the Bethel Chapel. Bethel, for those who live in BV, know the Bethel Congregational Church. Bethel Congregational Church is a part of that. A part of the Bethel Congregational Church was moved from Le Souvenir, and it came here. The other part went to Plaisance, where we have the Zorg Congregational Church. So it is within the walls of that church our ancestors planned the Demerara insurrection. And would you believe it? They were able to mobilize 12,000 people for that insurrection. As much as 12,000 people. Can we mobilize 12,000 people that easily today? I doubt it. I doubt it we can mobilize 12,000 people to hit the streets tomorrow morning for any reason. But our ancestors did it. And in that time they had no television, they had no radio, they had no cell phone, they had no telephone, they had no loudspeaker, microphones, nothing. Just networking, person-to-person networking. We have to network among ourselves to ensure that our messages are transmitted, our ideas are propagated, our work is planned and can be executed. We have to network. Today we have tools that will assist us in this networking. We have the cell phones, we have telephones, we have the television, all computers, we have it all. So we don't even have to leave our homes to touch base with a brother who is in Den Amstel. We don't have to leave our homes to touch base with a sister who is in Vrymans, or who is in Vryslus, who is in Ithaca. So we can do these things, we can network and make sure that things happen for each other, right? Yes, daily bread, as you see the logo there. We can network to buy daily bread. It's a brother's baker shop. We can network to get your welding services done at Rural Engineering Services, right here in Triumph, through Jardine Street. We can network to have so many things done. We can network to have things done in Mocha, and so on. So we need to know, so we need a lot of things to be done. So as I said, look out for the notices for the celebrations of the emancipation celebrations too, but for the 1823 rebellion. This anniversary will last 1 year, as from August 18th all the way to August 1824. So we have 1 year of celebrations, and it will be countrywide. We will be having exhibitions of letters, for instance, that were written by Reverend John Smith. We will be having exhibitions of some of the court documents from that kangaroo court that caused many of our enslaved cousins to be hung after their trial. A lot of the records, we will have them on display. So look out for those announcements and participate. Learn your history, because the people who does not know their history will be lost. It will be any port for storm if you do not know your roots. Right? And in closing today, I will have a short discourse on reparations, because as I said, I'm a member of the Guyana Reparations Committee. What is reparations? I know many of you have been hearing the term reparations. To many, reparation means a dollar figure. But to us in the Guyana Reparations Committee, it's much more than payment for work done, the work of our ancestors who worked, toiled in Guyana, for instance, for over 200 years without being paid. Yes, we must be paid for that. There will be mechanisms to ensure that that payment, when it's here, is made, will benefit all of our people, right? But apart from the payment, there are many other things that we need, that needs. You see, the term reparation speaks about repair, speaks to repair. All right? So what is there to repair? We have self-repair. We need to repair ourselves at all levels, mentally, physically, psychologically. Because when I say physically, some of you may say, but we are strong and so. But if you look within our community, there are some diseases that are directly related to that era. We consume too much sugar to the point that it has contaminated. Maybe I will not want to go that far to say it has changed our DNA. But what is happening in the Caribbean is that the Caribbean, the rate of diabetes in the Caribbean is second to none in no other part of the world as that level of diabetes as we have in the Caribbean. And it is all related back to our consumption of sugar, from which we started way back when, during the days of enslavement, because sugar was available. So we used it. It gave us energy. But it also caused illnesses. It is touted that Barbados is the amputation capital of the world, all because the Bajans have been using too much sugar, right? So we need to repair ourselves at that level to ensure that we are healthier, right? Consumption of sugar, we need to look at it in every which way possible, try to reduce it. So the repair. Then we talk about the mental repair. I just mentioned about some of our young people who are mentally stagnated. Many of them believe that somebody owes them something. Yes, somebody owes you something. The enslavers of our foreparents, they owe us. But we must be prepared to deal with it, right? So I will be off, and within the next programs you will have people discussing trade unionism, education, and the rest of. We will have a very good time, I hope. And should you need to contact me, My WhatsApp number is there, and you can always send ideas and let us gaff. Thank you very much, and good night again. Bye.